Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to PCCS's emPower Hour. My name is Alyssa,
My name, as always, is Kevin Roman.
and we're here today with three specialists to kind of close out season 3 of our PCCS emPower Hour. With us today, we have Elly Rufer Meri Krassner, and Randy Bolton, all members of NYC. And we're really excited to have you three here. Welcome, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Hello.
We're happy to be here.
Thank you. So can you guys start us off at the show, introducing yourself, telling us a little bit about you and your history with the disability community?
I'm the oldest. I'll go. My name is Elly Rufer, and I'm a parent of a soon-to-be 40-year-old. Oh, my God. So that gives you kind of clues to how old I am. However, Katie was diagnosed at 8 months. So from 8 months on,
I can't hear anything.
So from 8 months on, I've been an advocate. And, life goes on that way. I am the parent that started the Parents Association in every spot that Katie was in, which is, fitting because that's how Mary and I met at those kinds of things and started NYC Fair. So
amazing. So when you became a parent, this kind of became a part of your world now, and we love that you, after 40 years, are still owning it.
Yes, but I'm looking for people to take over. No, we're glad
to have you.
Close with that.
That's fantastic. So now I know Mary's having some tech issues. So Randy, can we hear a little bit about you?
Sure. So unlike Elly, I actually started out in this industry as a DSP when I was 16 years old. And I never left the industry. I've worked in the not-for-profit and for the state at one time also in many, many capacities, running residences, recreation, day programs. And my baby was always employment. And somewhere along the line, I did have a child, and my child also has disabilities. He's 34. And so that prompted me, even though I am semi-retired, to work with NYC Fair doing advocacy.
Amazing.
Nice.
We love that we're having so many people with so much experience. So we're happy to have you. Thank you so much, Randy, for joining. So Mary, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
I guess not.
All right. So, all right. I guess while we're troubleshooting all of that, Elly,
we'll work with our producer Jovanella to see how we could get Mary back on.
Yes, to get that started. So, while would you be able to tell us, Mary, back, Mary? Hey, Mary, can you hear us?
Doesn't look good.
Hello?
Yes. Hey, Mary, can you hear us?
I don't hear you, though.
Fantastic. I'm wondering if there's something wrong with the maybe the device that we're on.
All right. Let me work with Jovanella on that. In the meantime, guys,
okay,
I guess we could proceed. And once we get Mary back on, we'll have her slide on back in the conversation.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Kevin and Jovanella, for working through that. So, Elly, back to you. Can you tell us a little bit about what is NYC Fair? I know you and Mary were both co-founders. What exactly is the organization?
NYC Fair is a family self-advocate, anybody who wants to join, advocacy group for anyone with intellectual and developmental disabilities. So we don't care how you receive services, where your family member is or your friend is or whatever. We are here to advocate for everything that we can possibly do. We realized that there just wasn't anything other for families to attend and get the information they need if it worked, if they had no daytime, if they couldn't attend meetings. So I retired a long time ago. I was luckily could retire. And I started attending the council meetings. So Staten Island has a DD council, as does all the boroughs. And originally I set up something called transition information because my daughter was aging into 21 to OPW DD services. And we essentially replicated those meetings, the DD council meetings, where you receive all the reports from the providers, how are things going, the state, and everyone else, and replicated them in our homes in the evening so people could attend on the way home. And we serve them dinner because, you have a captive audience. You want them to attend. You want them to get involved. But you need to make it easy. Now, I have to say, so NYC Fair took that to a larger degree because it wasn't in our homes. And so we could reach more parents. And actually, the use of the Zoom and the technology increased our membership tremendously and our outreach. And I totally miss the one-on-one and meeting people and all of that. And maybe we'll start a hybrid of that soon. But now you can attend meetings at noon on your lunch hour and then go back to work. So that was the premise, is to get all the information to people who couldn't attend, who couldn't get it otherwise.
Amazing. So now, Randy, I know you're also a part of NYC Fair. Can you tell us about what your role in the organization is?
I do whatever Meri and Elly want me to do, to be honest. Actually, I do attend a lot of meetings and take minutes so that then we could disseminate some of that information out. I still work in the industry part-time. So I'm at these meetings anyway, and I'm taking these minutes, for my agency. But I just make sure that I also have the information that I think would be important for NYC Fair to get out to parents in my minutes.
Awesome. That's amazing. So now through NYC Fair, you guys have a campaign. It's an ongoing campaign. It's called Save Our Services. Or SOS. I'm sure a lot have seen that with the beautiful Zoom backgrounds. I know I see them in a lot of meetings that I jump in on. So can you tell us about specifically that campaign?
Save Our Services is a blending of 4 family advocacy groups statewide. So they're the members of SWAN, which is Statewide Advocacy Network, but they're Donnie from upstate, from the Western New York region, Leanne's from Long Island, New York City Fair from the 5 boroughs, or whoever wants to join us, we don't care, and Any Day from the Albany area, and the 5 DD councils. So we have a good blend of information and advocates, and it's just powerful. And as the cuts kept coming and COVID kept happening, we needed to share information much wider than just our own little insular thing. So we became a statewide group. And the talents in there are absolutely amazing. So we've done some good, what was our virtual rally blew us away. We had over 1,000 people they attended, and then there were many more that got turned away because we had no idea that we would hit that kind of number. And that's where we started. So it's a collective. And if anyone has participated in a collaborative, it ain't easy, but it's worthwhile. It's definitely worth the effort.
Yeah.
Yeah,
definitely. Also, Meri, you're back. So we want to take a minute and welcome you, Meri, to the show.
That was very weird.
Well, we're happy to
Technology.
finally have you. 10 minutes in. So, Meri, can you before we hop back into talking about the SOS campaign, can you tell us about yourself and your experience in the disability community, and then we can tie that in to your role through the SOS campaign, through NYC Fair, all that good stuff?
Well, I'll try to make it short. My original advocacy was for my son, who was born and was back in the hospital at 8 days old. So I had to start advocating there with doctors. And then we started in the early intervention world, the preschool world, and then the preschool we were in, which was at Teachers College of Columbia and 2 other sites. We got a notice 2 weeks, this whole place will be shut down and all these little 3-year-olds will have nowhere to go and nothing to do. So the parents all organized and we got very crazy. And I realized that the anger and pain that I was feeling made me have courage to be able to call people I would never have called. I actually called Governor Pataki directly. I called all sorts of people because it wasn't about me. It wasn't about my self-consciousness. It was about the cause, so to speak. And that stayed with me. And so it went into the school system when he was there, because he was a District 75 kid. And then when he joined the over 21 crowd and started doing day services, that became the place where it all went. And then Elly and I teamed up and created New York City Fair, because there was no one place for all parents, no matter the disability, no matter the age, no matter the services, no matter the location, all had the same needs.
Understood.
And it was the first time I'm aware of that there was like that kind of unity.
Yeah, yeah, that was the point of it.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, yeah. And to respect that people couldn't meet during the day.
Yes,
so like to this day, our meetings are at dinner time or after dinner, hopefully. So
just like me, they were working parents.
Right.
And Randy.
Absolutely. So now I know we were talking about the collaborative effort that was made during the that amazing Zoom rally. We were all there. We were all part of it.
There were.
So I know from Kevin and my perspective, we were there from kind of the end of the planning process. Can you tell us from like start to finish where the idea of hosting a rally on Zoom, which even that seems so unthinkable, really, because you think of a rally, you think you're showing up somewhere in the street and getting people to speak on everyone's behalf. I mean, we're on Zoom. Some people are in their pajamas trying to get the message out there to others. Can you tell us about that thought process and
it came from the fact that we wanted to have a rally. We wanted to have it outside, and we realized we couldn't. So then we hit upon doing it virtually.
Yeah, and we just kind of followed what a rally looks like. You have an MC and you have people speaking about the points, right, and you let the politicians in when you can.
Yeah.
You need them.
And we had to think about other things. Well, we wanted visuals because you don't just want to look at talking heads. We wanted to show the people we were talking about. We also put music at times when we were having visuals because we knew there were people on the phone who couldn't see, and it would just all of a sudden go blank for them. So we actually tried to think of all those aspects of doing it and having it be lively. And I knew from my work that people don't watch 5-minute long videos. So we had to have them be short and direct and impactful. So we did a lot of cutting, as you know.
It's up on YouTube. It's up on YouTube.
Yeah.
We'll make sure to put the rest so that way people can see.
Yeah.
I have to remember whether it's on an SOS channel or an NYC Fair channel, but you can look for it.
We'll definitely double check that.
Yes, please.
For sure, for sure. So now talking about, getting politicians involved and making sure that we get their stances and their voices are also heard. This is kind of an open question to everyone on the call right now. How do you guys feel that progress has been made towards the disability inclusion in society?
Well, we got very lucky. There was a new senator who was elected named John Mannion from Syracuse, who has a son, and it was the nephew of a woman with Down syndrome, and he had a real feel for this community, and he became a real leader. And that was the first time, really, we had somebody championing us, going up against our governor. And I really, we owe him a debt of gratitude, I feel. I'm not sure if everybody agrees with me, but it has made a very big difference. And I think our new legislator rally really helped inform people who had not been involved before. And it was both parties. Like the ranking member of the disability community, Senator Martucci, he was also new, and the field was new to him. And now he's become a great champion.
That is also up on YouTube.
I just did a new legislator training. We developed a whole training for new legislators. Once again, Zoom, and people, legislators attended, and at least they got a glimpse of, what we were about and what some of our issues are.
Not to sound too flip, but our aim was to make them cry.
Yes.
And we succeeded. We saw the tears coming down.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it wasn't tears, feeling sorry for anyone. It was of realizing that they were proud. They had something that they could do about this.
Well, I think they felt the humanity of both the people who with IDD, the people who take care of people with IDD, because we had some DSP people talking, and also parents and how their lives are. And we basically took the big virtual rally, which was about an hour and a half or so, and cut it down to be much shorter, because we know their attention span and their ability to get away from whatever else they were doing was much shorter. And we did it twice because we also knew that we didn't know that their schedules would fit. And it worked. And we also tried to make it flow, to have a story, so to speak.
Right. I think there's a big power in storytelling. I think, like you saying, that you wanted to make these legislators cry and realize like they have the power to make these changes. So there's a real power in all of that. And it's great that, we're in a space now where those legislators are taking the time to learn, because we're all human and not everyone is perfect and can know everything about everything. But it's, women like you that have that power to show them, look, this is the way, this is what we need.
Randy and her husband have the perspective of start to finish in this whole thing. And Randy, it's so unique that they worked in the field before they had their child.
So ironic.
Go for it, Randy.
And we actually met working in Willowbrook, the state institution.
Wow.
We were getting our master's degree, and we were in a program that you had to work in Willowbrook to get your degree. And we put in to work with, a particular population, and 4 of us were the only ones that put in for that. So we ended up working together, and it was a 1-year program. So we spent,
a lot of time.
1 day off. I think we had 2 days off, Christmas and New Year's. So we spent an awful lot of time together, and we ended up getting married. I had worked in the field prior to that degree, and meeting my husband. But he also worked in the field before that. And then we had our son. And, so then, I don't think I would have ever left the field anyway. But, then we became advocates as well. As employees.
So it was kind of meant to be. It was written in the stars. You weren't allowed to leave the community. We needed you.
I started I started in Willowbrook, part-time, a summer job, and I fell in love with the people I was working with, and I never left, even though, my bachelor's degree was in something else. I just never left the industry. So I guess it was a calling for me.
Yeah.
But their perspective is so, a full circle that it's.
I've always said that I knew nothing about intellectual developmental disabilities. I mean, seriously ignorant. And it was handed to me to know about this. So I am always so in awe and grateful to the people who choose to do this,
Right.
who go into it. It's amazing to me and very impressive.
All our teachers and
teachers and PAs and DSPs and everything like that.
A lot more patience than the parents have.
Well, they don't have the 24/7 aspect.
Exactly.
Everyone needs a break sometimes.
Yeah.
So as far as the advocacy work goes, what are some advocacy highlights that you guys can share with us? Things that really stick out, and maybe some success stories too.
Well, I think we've talked about the virtual rally and the legislature learning thing, which are highlights. But one thing I want to say sort of to parents is that there is a lot of grief that comes sometimes with a child who you worry about. You worry about any child, but you really worry about your child with disabilities who will need some kind of support of some sort for their whole life. That you can take that grief and you can make it active, and you can try to make the world better for them and not just have it be about them and you. And it's a very good outlet for very, very heavy and strong feelings. That's kind of how I experience it. And I recommend it to others. It's a good place to put your energy.
Yes.
Get out of, you can be very depressed or you can be very active.
And it gives you a support, system, because if you're advocating, you're among other people who are in the same shoes as you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still see and am friends with the people that the families that we met when Kate was in early intervention when she was under a year old, and she's turning 40. So the power of the connection just doesn't go away.
And it's the most democratic thing ever because it doesn't care who you are, how much money you have, where you live, the color of your skin, if you just came here or your family's been here since the Mayflower. You are all in the same boat. And other parents and other family members understand in a way that you would take you hours and hours and hours and days to explain to others. If you could do that.
Right. It's a real sense of community, really.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, it has to be. It has to be. Otherwise, you won't survive. At certain points in your life, you're better than others, but at some points, you wouldn't make it.
Yeah.
So I know we were talking about some success stories. Do you have any notable moments where you kind of wish that you saw that the advocacy didn't quite work or didn't quite meet the mark? I know maybe that's.
I was going to say try the last few years with our former governor.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was like banging your head against the wall, and just as painful.
Yeah. Yeah. We have some hope now. We have a new governor and we have a new commissioner for OPWDD. And there's some hope.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And getting that new legislature in, because he took things out of the budget that hurt us, and the legislature put a lot back in. And we worked very hard to reach all the other legislators to support the work the Disabilities Committee was doing. And it was the first time, I think, that I know of, although I don't have a long history with this, where we got somewhere. Some of the cuts were reversed. We got to keep the money that the federal government is sending us in our field. And the first go round when the pandemic started, the federal government money came from our Medicaid money, and the governor kept it and did not give it back to us.
And we're the group that generated the reimbursement.
Exactly. So. It was our services. So that's a very big difference.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So where do you, I'm sorry.
Advocacy in general, though, can just be, it's powerful when you spread it out. You get to have meetings with people that wouldn't meet you as an individual. So that's the reason to have an organization to be behind, and a reason to form coalitions, so that you can get into the door. You can knock on the door and have it opened, and they'll listen, because you're representing a lot of people.
A lot of voters.
A lot of voters, you know. It's not just Mary and I and Randy. It's our families. It's our extended families. It's the DSPs, the people who work with our families. It's the provider that
it's you guys.
Services. Yeah. So.
Yeah. That's true. We would never, I would never have spent so much time in Albany.
I've been there twice already this year. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
I love it. So this is another open question, open to all three of you. If you could leave our audience with one thing, what would it be?
Join NYC Fair.
Yes.
There you go. Straight and to the point.
Love it.
Well, not only that, open and do whatever emails you receive in terms of action, because it's not taking you away from your job or your business or anything else, or your child, but it is having an impact, because responsiveness helps. It really does. But I would say to you, take advantage of the fact that everything is virtual now, and the DD Council meetings are virtual. And they're not, you don't even necessarily have to attend at the time they're happening. They're generally posted online. Not always, because some of the guest speakers don't permit it, but so do that, and then participate in everything that comes along. Be well informed. We have tremendous issues right now. We don't have enough workforce. It's just heartbreaking. We can go into details about all that, and it's got to do with money and pay. And there is, and there's hope, because the federal government is providing some hope here.
Yes.
But it's everyone else has their hand out. So our hand has to smack them away.
It's not just join NYC Fair. We have a very extensive email list. We send out blasts with one clicks you can do that will send you. You don't have to do more than fill your name in, and it will go to your representatives. Like we broadcast that there's a CAS meeting at 2 today, where you can learn about the new assessment system that we're all going to be subjected to, and that agencies are going to get their rates based on. And then Tuesday, we're having an in-person rally in City Hall Park, and we send out this kind of thing all the time. So it's get on the list. Even if you can't do everything, at least you'll know what's going on, and you can get some education, and see if you can come. We've had virtual town halls talking about transition, talking about how to pick a day program, talking about what is going on in Albany, and they're virtual, and they're at night, and you can send in questions, and it's great, and they're free. Exactly.
And without advocacy, we do run the risk of losing services. So, for parents who, we all were there. We know how hard it is to put that time in. You're working, you have family to take care of, but we've tried to make it as easy as possible for their voice to count. Without everybody's voice, we could lose our services for our children, and who suffers in the end is our children.
Exactly.
So
absolutely. We're actually getting a comment in from Maritza Adorno. She's saying, I'm speaking Unfortunately, my daughter passed away 2 years ago. Oh, Maritza, we're sorry to hear for your loss. Her daughter Millie was on life support from day one of birth. She had to learn to advocate for her, and it turns out that Maritza was advocating for others who were struggling the same way as she was. She had taught herself to carry many hats in the medical field and dealing with the Department of Education. Sounds kind of like what you were saying, Mary. I managed to be part of the board advisory of the hospital as well as PTA president in District 75. So she made herself very, accustomed to a lot of the leaps and bounds that go through advocating for yourself and maybe not knowing all the resources that are available. So it's amazing that there are people and organizations like your own that give people that space to share their stories. Again, that power of storytelling and, have that voice. So thank you for sharing that, Maritza.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think sharing is exactly the key to the whole thing. Share whatever you learn and put it out there. It doesn't matter what it is, because it's going to help someone.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you help one person,
They help.
You've changed the world. I
Honestly.
think that's a phrase someplace.
Or a song.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you ladies so much for joining us today. It was really wonderful catching up again with you guys. Can't believe it's almost a
Yes.
year since the that rally.
Right.
It feels like yesterday. So I want to thank you and for talking about your experiences and your history in this community and all the amazing things that are ahead. And we'll be sure to make sure we share all of the resources in the comments to our viewers, so that way they know where to find you guys. Check out all the rallies and YouTube videos as well.
Yes.
So thank you again, and it was a pleasure speaking with you guys.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, and to our viewers, thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.
And we
Great.
thank you.